I'm here to talk about moisturizers because people are telling me to. Elliot Kane said a breakdown of moisturizers would be awesome. Can we talk about moisturizers? What else? Rarl S said I would love the heart to see a deep dive on toners or moisturizers. So I feel like it's time. So we've been gathering up a few different things. If you want to jump straight to those products, there's going to be some links down there. If you just want to know about Gorgeous or you just want to know about Skin Shangri-La, you can just jump to that. Also, if there's any how it's made videos, or I know we also have a deep dive about a product that I'm going to talk about in a minute, that'll also be linked up on there, and you can kind of go around and explore a little bit too. But come back to me because we're going to be talking about moisturizers. In my last video, if you were looking at the cleansers video, we talked a little bit about skin types versus skin needs. So at Lush, we don't really believe in skin types. We think more about what an individual's skin needs. And that might be on a day-to-day or week-by-week basis, and also just acknowledging the fact that there's 7 billion people in this world and they're not all going to fit into an oily or a dry or a combo kind of a range. It's just not that simple. So we have, gosh, I want to say almost a dozen different moisturizers for your face at Lush, and each one of them is special in its own way. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about just some of the ingredients that we use, and then also I've got a few that I want to highlight for you. I can just tell you a little bit more about those and who might enjoy using them. So at Lush, we believe that the skin should function in a natural, healthy way. And so when we're using simple, fresh ingredients like fresh fruit juices, essential oils, and simple vegetable oils and butters, we really want to do what the skin wants to do. If it wants to feel more radiant or plump and dewy, we want to give that effect to the skin. And so using it in combination with a cleanser, or maybe you like to use a toner right before you put your moisturizer on, is really going to help achieve the look and feel that you're going for with your skin. We want you to feel like you're on cloud 9 with your skin. We want you to feel happy in your own skin, and that really comes from using good ingredients. It's just like the Italians when they're cooking, right? It's all about the ingredients, freshness, and it's the same thing with skincare. We want to make sure that we're putting useful, fresh, breathable ingredients on the skin so they can really do everything that they're meant to be doing. First, I want to talk about Celestial. I want to talk about Celestial first because the ingredient list is so simplistic. And this is for somebody, you know, if you look on the back of a product here, there's usually a ton of ingredients. You can see this list is quite short actually, and very green. Do you know what the green means on this? Green for us means these are natural ingredients, where our black ingredients are safe synthetics. So this one has a really beautiful list. It's vanilla water, almond oil, almond milk, very simple ingredients. When I think about who wants to use this product, this is for a person who needs some extra moisture. It's got a lot of vegetable glycerin in it, and so that keeps the moisture from escaping the skin, and it can even draw moisture from the air to sit onto the skin, so that's going to keep the skin feeling really soft. It's got a very simplistic ingredient list, so I think about people who have very sensitive skin, who are maybe a little worried about everything that goes onto their skin. So this is really just going to be a nice soothing, pillowy feeling on the skin. One of my favorite ingredients in here is fresh Dove Orchid. When they make this in the factory, this was made by Lewis. When they make this in the factory, they will actually get a delivery of these beautiful orchids, and they will pluck the blooms off and then put them into a blender with some glycerin. So they're literally making like an orchid milkshake to go into this product. And I think about that every time I think about it. And when I put this product on, this is one that I use all winter long. Especially if you're like riding your bicycle or getting chapped cheeks or something like that, this can be really, really helpful. But I always think about, the first time I saw this like big bouquet of orchids go by and then they're just like plucking the heads off and putting them in there, I was like, wowed for sure. So simple ingredients, real fluffy, soft texture, lasting moisture for sure. I also grabbed Skin Shangri-La to almost compare and contrast to Celestial. So again, when we're thinking about like, is it dry skin? Is it oily skin? If it were that simple, these would probably both be in like the dry skin category, but it's so much more than that. So I want to talk a little bit more about it. So Skin Shangri-La, which by the way is my mama's favorite moisturizer, is known for its delicious vanilla scent, first of all, but also for its Queen of Hungry water. If you haven't heard of this before, Queen of Hungry water is rosemary tips that have been macerated or kind of like mashed up in vodka. Okay, so you can probably imagine like a yummy cocktail happening off of this. But the Queen of Hungry, legend has it, was known for having used this well into old age, and was meant to have very beautiful, youthful skin. And she was kind of like a legendary cougar, I guess you could say. So when we're thinking about Skin Shangri-La, Shangri-La is the fountain of youth. So that's actually a really interesting concept in and of itself, is thinking about anti-aging. So I wanted to talk about that with Skin Shangri-La. It does have a name like that indicates the fountain of youth, and this ingredient, the Queen of Hungry water, which is tied to that legend of beautiful, youthful skin. But when we think about anti-aging, one thing that we don't sell, we sell good skin. We don't sell dreams. So we don't sell things that have a lot of like micro nano technology, like micro collagen boosters and things like that. We are using simple ingredients to let your skin do what it wants to do and do what it needs to do. As skin matures and ages, there is beauty in that, there is a story in that, and we fully embrace that. We're not trying to erase your wrinkles. We know that those come from laughing with your friends for years and years. So we want to make sure that the skin is healthy, that it is plump, that it's feeling good, and the ingredients in here are really going to help you to do that. So it's got some really great revitalizing ingredients like wheatgrass juice, some really nice cold pressed vegetable oils. Cold pressed vegetable oils are really great for the skin because they're, think of like a raw foods experience, okay? So if you're thinking of, imagine something like jojoba that's in here, or almonds, and you just crush those seeds or those nuts, you might get like a little hint of an oil, but not too much. A lot of oil is made by heating it, where the oil will just naturally start to melt out, and you can yield a lot more. But the cold pressed oils mean that there is going to be all of the nourishment still locked in that oil that goes right onto the face. So it takes a lot more product, like raw material, to yield that same amount of oil, whereas if you were to heated it. So it does cost a lot more to produce, but the benefits is what we're really going for that. So when you see cold pressed oils like cold pressed almond oil or cold pressed jojoba oil or cold pressed avocado oil, you know that you're really getting a nourishing, like buzzworthy product. Speaking of cold pressed vegetable oils, I want to talk about Gorgeous because it is one of our most special moisturizers that we have. So this one is a very revitalizing, buzzy, like I was saying before. It's almost really like buzzing on the skin with freshness. So this one has almost like a triad of different things going on. So the first thing that it has is, God, it smells so good. It smells like fresh neroli, this like crisp orange blossom scent. It's one of my favorite smells. So the first thing that it has going on for it are fresh fruit juices. It has fresh lemon juice, orange juice, and pineapple juice. And what that does for the skin is, as it sits on the skin, those fresh fruit juices, they have fruit enzymes in there. And those enzymes are really going to keep the skin looking radiant. So it's kind of like eating up any dead skin on the surface, keeping the skin really fresh and bright. So that's what I think of when I think of fresh fruit juices on the skin. It's especially cool to have fresh fruit juices on the skin in a moisturizer that sits on your face all day long, because it can just keep on doing that work rather than something that like washes on, washes off. This is really going to have more of a lasting impact on the skin. So that's really good. We've got those cold pressed oils, so I was telling you about just before, more expensive to make for sure, but you're getting this really big jolt of nourishment in there with those. And then this one also has neroli, which I just told you is in here. That is a bitter orange blossom. It has myrrh resin, and it has evening primrose. Now those things are all really good for promoting elasticity in the skin. So that is going to help to keep the skin firm and taut and to keep it from settling into wrinkles. So this is a really good one that could be used like at nighttime. Like I said, you're just gonna let that sit on there all night and do its good work. So I would probably recommend, I mean, you can use this whenever you want. A lot of people are just doing like a little spritz of a toner and a little bit of moisturizer in the morning and then using something at night. A lot of people will use like Gorgeous during the daytime because it's nice and a little bit lighter. And then like something like Skin Shangri-La at night, which is a little more moisturizing. And while you're sleeping, your skin is really doing a lot of repair and recovery work. So it'll really feel really fresh and soft in the morning time. But you're gonna do things however you like to do. But Gorgeous is a nice, it's just like a fresh, light moisturizer that has all of that nourishment in it. That's a really, really exciting product that we have in the store for sure. A lot of times when people come in to talk to us about moisturizers, if they have quite oily skin and they say things like, I have oily skin, I don't need to use a moisturizer, one thing that I usually talk to them about is a product like Enzymion. You may also hear it called Enzymion because of all the enzymes in it, but it is named after a poem called Endymion. And I'm sure anybody from New Orleans will know it's Endymion because they have a big Endymion festival. So you can say it however you like though. So I like to talk about Enzymion because skin that's very oily tends to go through a lot of swinging back and forth with making too much oil and then feeling like you need to mop it all up and get rid of it. And then you're kind of too dry and then your skin freaks out. It makes too much oil again and you're just going back and forth and back and forth. It can be really frustrating. So using a very light moisturizer, but just enough where your skin understands what's going on, it knows it doesn't have to keep forcing tons of oil, can actually really help to calm that oil production. So I like to show Enzymion in particular because it has a lot of fresh lemon juice. This actually, crazy enough, this moisturizer actually has like a mattifying effect on the skin. So it has a really super light lemony scent, a little bit of shea butter in there, and it just melts right in. And if you even have like an oily patch on your skin, you can actually see like a stripe of matteness from where that just like melted right in. So it's just light enough that it's telling your skin to chill out, but just giving you that little burst of happiness that it needs to with that fresh lemon juice to keep the skin really radiant too. I wanted to show you a couple of little specialty things that we have in the shop too. One of them is Enchanted Eye Cream. This is an eye cream for anybody. It's very light, and the reason we use a light product around the eyes, you can see it's almost got like a little bit of a milky texture, almost more like a lotion, which is why it comes in a pump like this, is because the skin around the eyes is very, very fine. And so when we're thinking about the ingredients that we want to use here, we're using really light ingredients, so because it just soaks right up into that skin. And so we want to keep that really, really fine. So we get a lot of questions. Does it fix dark circles? No, it does not have, a lot of things that fix dark circles have bleaching agents in them, and we do not use that. Again, we want the skin to function in a natural, healthy way, and bleaching it is not in our game. So a good thing for dark circles is a nice little massage. So using these fingers, you can do a little tap, tap, tap just to apply that moisturizer. And then if you want to do a little bit of a massage like that, or if you're using like a gua sha tool or something like that, you can really help to just kind of stimulate that blood flow to help kind of flush that area out, and that could be of help to you. But it's really just about the lightness and the fineness. It's got, the first ingredient is a lavender honey water. So if you imagine this like a lovely tea just made of lavender buds and honey, that water content is gonna be soothing and balancing balancing, and just really do the rest of the work with the almond oil and the jojoba oil that's in there, just to sink right into the skin, but in a really light, fine way. The last one I want to show you is Full of Grace. This one is really special. Do we have serums? Yes, we do. Full of Grace is a perfect example of that. And a really good example of how Lush does things differently. So our serum is in a solid form. It's almost like a mini massage bar, and it works very much like that too. It just melts down on the skin, and you can see it's made with some maru butter, which is nice and melty. You might see that little gloss on my fingers there. And so that is what's going to carry the other ingredients onto the skin. Just like some other pink products that we have in the store, like Fresh Pharmacy. This one is pink because it has calamine powder in it. And so that's gonna be really good for soothing the skin, for helping with inflammation. And then it also has some almond oil, rose petals that are like steeped in hot water. And a cool ingredient is mushrooms. It has portobello mushrooms in it. And that is because mushrooms are really high in selenium. And selenium is a really great antioxidant. We get a lot of questions and a lot of misunderstanding about what antioxidants are, so I can tell you about that too, which you'll find tons of those in just all the moisture. Like I'm looking at these other ones here, I'm like, I should have told you about antioxidants in there. Antioxidants are, when you hear like, what does that do? People usually say, it gets rid of free radicals. But what are free radicals? Does it actually get rid of them? A free radical is a cell in your body that has gone through some sort of decomposition or decay or falling apart somehow because of lots of different reasons. Pollution, bad nutrition, smoking, don't smoke. It could be tons of different things. So it is a cell in your body, like a normal cell that you might have, that is somehow starting to fall apart. It's a zombie cell. Okay, so that is a free radical. So what an antioxidant does is it's known to quench a free radical. So it's basically giving it that missing piece that it needs to be able to repair itself and function in a healthy way. So free radicals left on their own will start stealing parts from different cells, making them free radicals, and you know how zombies work. So that's what free radicals do too. They just kind of spread. So antioxidants will help to kind of stop that cycle and help the skin function in a really natural, healthy way. That's a really super simple, weirdo explanation of how it works, but it does basically get the point across, right guys? Right? It does. When do you use Full of Grace? There's lots of questions about this as well. So you can use it as a moisturizer, just like as you would with any other moisturizer. Some people will use it under their makeup. Some people will use it under a mask, and a lot of people wonder why that is. It can really help to boost the benefits of your mask because the clay masks, if you've probably tried one on before, and after 5 to 7 minutes, they'll start to get a little hardened. The Full of Grace will actually keep it in that kind of more of an active state where it's not drying up on the face, so it can really just kind of continue to be doing the work instead of going a little bit dry on you. So that's a really good way to just keep your mask on for a little bit longer and to boost the benefits of it for sure. If you want to know a little bit more about Full of Grace, we have a deep dive. So my buddy Amanda, or Sipsy as we call her, is doing a deep dive on Full of Grace just on its own. It's her favorite product, and so you can hop over there and learn a little bit more about that from her. I wanted to give a quick little shout out for using a moisturizer and a toner together. You don't have to, but I wanted to show you why it is cool. So if you have a moisturizer, I've just got some gorgeous here. If you put it on just dry skin, especially if your skin is very dry, it just goes and just sucks it up right there. And it can be a little more difficult to get it to all the areas of your face without having to scoop up a little bit more and add more. So if you want a really nice, fine, light application, I would use a little bit of toner. I've got some tea tree water here, and you just spray it on, And then when you put it on, it just glides all over the skin. So it's not like sucking it up immediately, and you just get this really nice, fine, light application. It will even help you use a little bit less and just kind of stretch out your moisturizer a little bit. So give it a try, see if you like it, but I think that that can be something that you might really like if you start trying it. So I hope now that you're inspired to try a new moisturizer. We've got lots of things to choose from, so if you want to come and talk to somebody, we can help you pick out a couple that might be right for you, and you can see what happens with them. So we're loving the comments that are coming in. You've already given us the great idea to do cleansers and moisturizers, and we did those for you. Write down below what's your favorite moisturizer, what's your favorite way to use it. We want to hear about it and talk about it, and also keep up with those ideas because we'll keep you making these videos.